I'm Sumit Singh, founder and CEO of Timus Solutions. Do look us up at timussolutions.com and our social media outlets. Today, I am joined by Mr. Unmesh Deshpande, and we hope to have a healthy conversation on a very pertinent subject on healthcare and technology. It's all about health tech today, and we want to have a brief conversation on what exactly this is all about. And without further ado, let's get to the gist of the matter. Unmesh, all set?
Yeah,
So to start
yeah.
off, I would like to ask you, what is the primary goal of health tech, and how does it differ from traditional healthcare, methods?
See, primary goal of health tech was to have a lot of computer-driven software systems to automate most common processes in healthcare delivery. This will bring a predictability in the quality of service, number one. Number two, it will help us to, let's say, address masses, which we saw during COVID. The technology-driven hospitals really did well in patient care. What it would do is it will generate a lot of data, and data is the strategic asset for any organization, and healthcare is no option to it, right? So because of this data, it gives you so many possibilities across the healthcare spectrum, such as clinical decision support system, CDSS, or predictive analysis. All these things, they are the offsprings, or they rely on the quantity and quality of the data you have. So health tech has become an essential factor for any healthcare organization coming up, any hospital. Without software-driven or system-driven architecture, it's almost next to impossible to address even single patient in OPD these days. So that is the importance. What I feel is health tech seeking in the healthcare domain.
Fantastic. And so I hear also about, healthcare informatics. Are they related?
See, when you talk or say informatics, it's all about information. Where would you get information? If you don't have data, you are just mentioning some arbitrary facts. But information is that piece of knowledge which is streamlined into a particular channel in particular fashion and in particular delivery mode. This can happen if you have a data. If you don't have underlying data, which is a golden data for any organization or a nation. So healthcare informatics can be a advisory system to patient care, be it on a local, a small 100, 200 bedded hospital, or you may even think of upcoming ABDM platform. It is driven by information. It is independent of technology, whether the software is developed using Java or has a SQL database or XYZ. It can have any platform. It is platform independent, but a objective driven. So that is healthcare informatics, which can be really put to use in a proper way so that the clinicians can leverage upon their efficiencies, clinicians can leverage upon their service delivery, and clinicians will get a lot of spare time doing a focused research on certain ailments and certain diseases or certain situations. So it will give a quality time to the clinicians as well. So having healthcare informatics in a structured manner will definitely be a boon to the nation and the healthcare system.
Fantastic. Thanks for clearing it up a little bit. And you mentioned quite a few things that we have been leveraging, in the recent past as such. And so that takes me to the next question. Uh, could you elaborate the role of AI in health tech today, and how you see it actually evolving and basically making an impact in coming times?
Yeah, I would start uh, my dialogue on this question in a very at a basic grassroots level.
Shortly.
AI, these terms AI and ML, they are widely talked and least understood. You know, everybody you find all these colleges coming and mushrooming up in mofussil areas and rural areas, and they have a BE in AI and ML. Now, what is the caliber, what is the competence of the teachers, and what is the experience and expertise, industry experience of these teachers creating an AI professional? That needs to be validated. Then, artificial intelligence is a smaller offspring of human intelligence. Artificial intelligence works on patterns, cycles, repetitive logics, all governed by humanly written algorithm. So artificial intelligence is only good as its algorithm. If you have a specific algorithm written, let's say take a case of radiology. While I was working for a hospital, we did a lot of things on automating reporting patterns and doing the analysis of X-rays or CT, MRI, things like that. Because what we found, the X-ray that is taken, a digital X-ray, we only take the front side of it. There is so much of underlying data which goes waste. But that creating of data has cost you investment in the machine, in the technology, and in the software stack. What do you do about that data? That data is not garbage. That data is meaningful. How to nurture that data to form a meaningful and more in-depth analysis? There is a specific pathway for that. If an algorithm is written to understand and drive that pathway, it is nothing but putting AI into that particular module. And there could be so many instances, like during COVID days, first shot of remdesivir and its effects, whether the patient is improving, what are his vitals, what are his oxygen levels, what is his sleep quality, what is his respiratory rate, all these 17, 18 parameters, they were governed by remdesivir, right? So
Absolutely.
effect of remdesivir on all these things, it had a digital pattern. And the accuracy of pattern depended upon how you collected the sample and what was the frequency of collection. Higher the sample rate, better was the result. Now,
Absolutely.
there could have been a AI engine, we didn't have that time. There could have been an AI engine sending a message to doctor that these are the conditions post remdesivir, and doctor could have taken a decision whether a second shot is required or not.
True, true.
So AI in that context could have prevented overdosage
Certainly.
and thus the patient health in future. So I mean, uh, deployment of AI into healthcare, there is only one limitation: your vision and thinking. If you can think beyond those capsules and service delivery and imagine the future, what can be automated, what can be decided by somebody else, what can be decided by machine, and if you are able to find patterns in that, all these things can be put into a logic or algorithm into AI. I mean, you can start with a RPA, robotic process automation, then RPA will mature into a lot of collection of database data entries, and that can be further taken into AI level. So, I mean, in AI also is such a vast topic, and we, according to me, we just know a grain of a sand in a beach on a beach. So,
I
I mean,
agree with you. There is a like seems like a gold rush for IML, and I recall a recent conversation where probably it reflected their thinking a bit, where they said, "Well, if you have something to talk about AI and ML that you can introduce in our organization, that'll be really worthwhile." And I'm really kind of like puzzled as to what exactly he wants to pursue. He doesn't know. And so, that heavy lifting, he's trying to put it out on someone else without understanding, as you rightly said, vision and thinking. What are you pursuing? And you know what, and I think there are lots of snake oil salesmen at this current time who are espousing a
right,
lot of stuffs, and
right,
it's an evolving field. What can you say? And I think things will
yeah.
mature in coming times, and probably you will find who still stands, and who are actually lost in the sand of time, so to speak. So if I can just
Sumit, I have one point here.
yeah,
Supposing uh, you are an IT magician,
Okay.
Imagine yourself as an IT magician.
Mhm.
So, and you have a magic wand with you.
Mhm.
So, and you have to do some magic in AI, in healthcare spectrum. So
Yeah.
imagine that there is a greenfield project of a hospital, maybe 300, 500, whatever bed, right? And it's a multi-speciality with all technical equipment. Where is, which point you will put your magic wand first?
True. I do think myself as a wizard than a magician, slightly above that, but that's just a joke. Let's just move on a little further. Okay, I wanted to basically talk about interoperability. Earlier, what you used to get was monolithic big box systems and whatnot, and that was the way that you could achieve pretty much everything and whatnot. But the interoperability and its related connotations have become quite popular. And what are your thinking? What is your thought process behind that, and what do you make sense out of it?
Yeah. So interoperability is a must these days because nobody wants to operate in silos. In
True.
healthcare system, uh, whatever I have seen, the challenges are faced on two sides. Interoperability of integrating devices into the HMIS system. So it is a hardware connecting to a software, and they are handshaking on unidirectional or bidirectional, depending upon the modality and depending upon the machine.
Yeah.
Then there is also one side which you have got one software which is doing your complete EMR. Okay. Then you have got one software which is doing billing. You've got another third solution which is a cloud provided, which is doing something else, maybe automated insurance processing or maybe health analytics. All these softwares, if they don't adhere to common coding platform, they cannot be connected to each other.
Yeah.
Assuming that they are not, then what do you have to do? You have to create a middleware stack, a communicator software, middleware, which will make them interoperative,
Right.
right? Once this is done, it will form a unified system and the data will be sent through a very strict kind of a ETL process and create a single data lake on the cloud or on-prem. And once you have got a single data lake, it throws so many possibilities of improving healthcare by managing your KPIs, monitoring your performances, or delivering accurate results, even your ambulance tracking, or even tracking the health of the patient while he or she is being shifted from the residence to the hospital. All these things primarily will be possible only if systems talk to each other and they can interop.
Fantastic.
Secondly, at a, let's say, healthcare establishment A, and there is a healthcare establishment B. For example, a patient is native of Bangalore and has his medical record over there, and he is registered in XYZ hospital. Then there is he goes on a business travel to Delhi and unfortunately comes with a medical situation over there and gets admitted to some hospital in Delhi. Now he is not carrying his patient info and all the clinical information. If system A and system B can be merged together on a need basis, on a snapshot basis, this information will travel with the human being, making it easy for any remote or any clinician to have a, let's say, pinpoint kind of a medical treatment to save life. I mean,
Wonderful.
interoperability is the essence of being connected architecture.
Absolutely. I think it's been the goal for a very long time actually, and so things are evolving because obviously as you rightly put it, it's not possible to achieve everything under one umbrella or a box or a application, and so they need to coexist in a harmonious manner together so that the ideal outcome for an individual or an institution or a general population at large could all be achieved. And I think that's the fundamental, I imagine, the bedrock for interoperability to exist and evolve to make it even better and better as time goes by. Yeah, because we are all global citizens now, and you know what, you cannot live in
Correct.
a silo. We don't live in a silo anymore. Today here, tomorrow someplace else. And so, as you rightly put it, things which is very pertinent and relevant to me must actually, travel with us as well. If
Correct.
I could,
I mean, Sumit, the best example or the
mm,
best success story of Interop was the COVID application. It
yeah,
worked everywhere on any platform, on any kind of device, and it was designed to perform so many million operations per second that it was a global success. I mean, it was a interop between a medical scientists and the technology evangelists. So, I
absolutely.
mean, that is also interop between two like-minded people delivering a technology
And
on
it
a
wouldn't
different
have,
product.
happened without the absolute, acceptability of the patient or the care provider at the end of it, because they were the
Exactly.
most, benefited by it, because they had the things at their fingertips, probably, at a probably, much shorter notice, if not instant notice, than they
Correct.
had ever experienced before. And probably there is no going back now, given that the genie
Hmm.
is out of the bottle. So, Unmesh, if I
Correct.
may just continue a little bit further, I had another question. What you think would be the impact of health tech in preventive medicine? Because obviously prevention is better than cure. So then preventive
Certainly.
medicine has to come first and be maybe the core point of any kind of health services. So what do you think could be the impact of that in coming times?
See, preventive medicine is a very vast topic in medicine itself.
True.
Now, how technology can aid uh, preventive medicine or assist preventive medicine science at large and nationally and going ahead globally. Uh, what is the meaning of preventive medicine? Preventive medicine is basically not letting any pandemic arise, right?
True.
So the stresses, if a unique stress of any influenza or anything is found or any noticed in certain area on a connected architecture, if that piece of information is transmitted and embedded into rest of the system, if a similar stress is found, the clinician will sorry, clinician will not have to invest his time in reinventing the wheel what happened because the system already knows, right? So that time saved is life saved, time saved is pandemic stopped,
True.
right?
True. True.
So it is stitch in time, correct? So how do you deploy logics of preventive medicine into current healthcare platforms?
Yeah.
See, uh, if you look at our country, Bharat, right? So from northernmost state, which is Jammu and Kashmir, to southernmost, which is Tamil Nadu and Kerala, you will find that different uh, presence of different software providers. In north, some software is more dominant. In central India, there is another brand of software. In southern India, there is another brand. So, all these different products are there. In, let's say, Eastern India, there is another predominance of a product. What I feel is whatever preventive logics they are developing, it can be unified for the cause of humanity, may not be on a commercial level. Because finally, all healthcare facilities, all health tech CIOs, CTOs, and the IT companies, contributing to healthcare, we are there because of the patient.
True.
If we can be focused in a way that our thought process itself is patient centric, then delivering healthcare solutions prior to the ailment using data sciences will give a lot of boost to predictive medicine. And it could be anything. It could be a small SMS advisory sent to a patient.
True.
It could be a SMS sent to all the people in country that, okay, this is what is seen in this area and how to prevent this. Like we had so many advisories during COVID, wash your hands every 20 minutes or whatever, right? So, I mean, that worked.
True.
Where did that data come? That data came from the research. That data came from the captured patterns, right? All these things they evolved.
True, true,
So
true.
preventive medicine is a must rather than corrective surgeries.
Absolutely true. And actually, if I may add it, I too, experienced the horrors of COVID on a personal basis. I like to, I have only a few vanities in my life. One of them is having a collection of watches, all, analogs. But then actually I did switch to digital watch because it started with me thinking I should know my SpO2 levels really in real time basis and what are my blood pressure like and so on and so forth, and the miniaturization of these wearables, and then accuracy of the information and whatnot is also contributing. What I watch my sleep cycle, if I'm feeling if I'm sleeping well
Right.
or not. It all adds up to a preventive way of basically life at a individual level, obviously. Yeah. And so I just recall when you mentioned all the lessons that you were talking about during COVID and stuff, and now I
Hmm.
have a good collection of watches unused, and I use my smartwatch pretty much full day, and that's what I have now.
Right.
That's
Right.
sidebar on on my part as such. But I can I just move to the next question? That I would like to ask you. I mean, there are some probably some ethical considerations that maybe the new changes that are coming in healthcare, and maybe some things that we should basically like be a little wary of. The adoption is going faster than probably some regulations, perhaps, and maybe what's wiser. Everything which is possible may not be something that we should do, and so on, right? And so,
Right.
any thoughts on that front?
See, all of us were Corona warriors during the COVID days, right?
Yep.
We were there in the heart of the hospital, managing the hospital,
True.
literally managing the hospital. Clinicians were delivering the medical sciences, but they were delivering on our platform,
Yes.
right? Without such platform, it was not possible for anybody to achieve those numbers, number of patients. So, what happened is everybody, not all CIOs and CTOs of a hospital, they were geared for this kind of thing because pandemic was, COVID-19, I can say it was a severe teacher for humanity and humankind, and it uh, indirectly gave a lot of opportunities for technical people to develop half-cooked material, right? There were so many fly-by-night operators for cloud services. There were so many people offering a data communication which was not properly secured. It did not comply with GDPR or it did not comply with HIPAA standards. Patient privacy was at risk. Many of the leading hospitals globally, they got ransomware and they got hacked. So all these things are against ethic of healthcare driven by technology.
Yep.
So what I feel is before rolling out the situation, have a rigorous sandboxing of anything, ascertain whether they are meeting all the standards or not. A slightly late delivery is better than a leaking bucket.
Oh yeah.
So by the time the solution reaches the patient, half of the water has been drained from that bucket. So spend a little more time, seal that bucket, and then take it so the patient gets the fullest confidence and the treatment.
Very wise advice and nicely put. Before I conclude the call, I want to close with one final question, and which is, I mean, health tech is growing, and what advice would you give to professionals and institutions to prepare the upcoming generation to be successful in this field?
See, this is a very tricky and a complex question, because when you say what kind of advice for next generation, it makes us feel that we are, let's say, some rishi giving some piece of advice and addressing and all the thing. But keeping that aside, uh, there are a couple of takeaways from whatever experience, expertise, what we as a Timers group have. Uh, First one is never overestimate yourself.
True.
That yes, we can do it. And you, since you have committed that we can do it, you do something which eventually turns out to be more work than solution. So it does not matter if you are little late, but it definitely matters if you are Mr. Late, right?
Yes, it does.
So deliver technology which is well evaluated, which is well thought, and which is well consulted with all the stakeholders. So whenever you're delivering any technical solution or any technology which is going to carry your health tech services from today to tomorrow to day after and to future, what must be seen is whether you're doing an appropriate thing, which is affordable, and which is of benefit to all the stakeholders. It's not only patient, but it is also to the insurance companies. It is also the clinical sciences. Does it create an opportunity for young MBBS student to pursue their research work within your hospital? So it has to be research driven, because research would add new dimension to healthcare and new opportunities for technocrats to really design technology on that. So all these three or four prong approach, I think, will give a holistic kind of a environment for our next generation to really uh, consider as a starting point for their journey on this path.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I hope they'll take this advice to heart, and obviously we welcome up and
I
coming
hope
people
so.
to this field for sure. Appreciate your time this evening today, Unmesh, and we hope that we'll continue this chat in future ahead as well. And
Sure, Sumit, it's been
yeah,
pleasure.
and I see
Yeah,
one of our colleagues, Rajendra, joined us and was listening in.
yeah.
Rajendra, we put this on our social channels for sure. Do subscribe and put a like to it, and obviously give honest feedback as well. With that, I'd like to close this call. Thank you very much. We'll talk again
Thank
soon,
you.
something which is very relevant for healthcare and
Sure.
technology.
Thanks,
Fantastic.
Sumit.
Great day to all. Bye.